Welcome and congratulations to the class of 2015. Okay, please pray with me. Gracious God, standing on the edge of possibility, we pause to drink in the deep sense of accomplishment, pride, and hope of this moment, suspended in time between a student's past and a graduate's future. We gather with abundant joy and overwhelming gratitude. Together, we offer thanks for this special place, for professors, administrators, and staff who have shared their wisdom and cared for these students, for parents and families who have given love and support, for close and abiding friendships made over meals in the CAF and late-night studies in the PLC. Together, we seek your blessing for what is to be. We ask that you give these graduates peace to accept what is, courage to embrace inevitable change, and wisdom to stand in their own light. Help them to remain curious and to be present in every moment. For all that has been, we offer thanks, and for all that will be, we say yes. Amen.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm David Salee, president of William Jewell College, and I welcome you, the men and women of the class of 2015, honored parents, members of the Board of Trustees, the college faculty, distinguished guests, alumni, and friends to this 147th graduation convocation. Please join me in recognizing those who have contributed to our ceremonies today. The Kansas City Celtic Pipe and Drums, which provided the quad processional music, the William Jewell College Symphonic Band for leading us in our processional and the national anthem, and Mrs. Leslie Swan, a 1987 graduate of William Jewell and parent of a graduating senior who offered our invocation. Thanks to all of them. So graduates, we are here to celebrate your accomplishments. All of us, especially you and your families, have been working toward this milestone for a long time. These ceremonies honor the steadfast support of those family and friends, the distinguished teaching and mentoring of our faculty and staff, and the ongoing mission of William Jewell College. Together, we observe a meaningful chapter in your lives that is coming to a close. Today's ceremony marks both an end and a beginning, for we are certain that your experience here at William Jewell will lead you on a journey to significant achievements. The liberal arts curriculum as practiced at Jewell has challenged you to develop critical thinking, to practice ethical decision-making, to engage in complex problem-solving, and to enhance your communication skills. We're confident that your studies in the liberal arts tradition will provide you with a solid foundation for a lifetime of personal and professional success. Today is more than a celebration of individual achievement. It is also a day to celebrate the vibrant living and learning community at William Jewell. Since the founding of Jewell 166 years ago, this community has undertaken the high calling of teaching and learning. We remain committed to the founding principles of the college: excellence in teaching, a rigorous course of study, and academic freedom, all enhanced by an environment that cultivates leadership, service, and spiritual growth. Because of the efforts of our wonderful faculty and our outstanding students, William Jewell continues to earn its place among the best liberal arts colleges in America. The college was named again this year among America's best colleges by U.S. News and World Report, Forbes magazine, and the Princeton Review. Money magazine released its first national ranking this year, naming William Jewell to its best colleges list. In Washington Monthly's list of colleges that contribute to the public good, William Jewell was ranked number 21 nationwide for community service participation, with students, faculty, and staff volunteering more than 47,000 hours of service during the last academic year. Thank you. The college also works hard to achieve a ranking that is probably uppermost in the minds of graduates and parents as we celebrate commencement today. 99% of Jewell alumni are attending graduate school or have a job within 6 months of graduation. This speaks to the preparedness, yes, it's very important. This speaks to the preparedness of Jewell graduates and the value of a Jewell education. This year in particular, we have much to celebrate. One group of 5 students became the country's first undergraduates to become certified in Apple's Vanguard training program. In our first year of providing iPads to all students and faculty, we've seen some impressive progress in developing collaborative projects, innovative approaches to coursework, mobile app creation, and students assuming technology leadership roles in professional development. Another group of 5 students was selected as University Innovation Fellows funded by the National Science Foundation. And this spring, the White House recognized their efforts in exposing first-year students to entrepreneurship and innovation in science, technology, engineering, and math disciplines. Students have achieved numerous individual successes as well, receiving regional and national honors for debate, athletics, and research. They've been awarded competitive scholarships in science, writing, and the languages. And our baseball team is in the regional tournament for the first time in our NCAA Division II history, meaning that their 9 graduating seniors will not be able to join us today. Today also marks a milestone for William Jewell as we graduate our first class of students with a master's degree in education. They completed the program in just 14 months while also working as full-time educators. Achievements such as these do not occur without the support of a strong leadership team. The college is blessed to have a dedicated group of servant leaders on its board of trustees. They are committed to the college's mission and give tirelessly of their time and expertise. Will the trustees please stand to receive our appreciation for their service to the college? Now, we often speak of the William Jewell College family, and that description is of particular importance to the many legacy families whose members return to the Hill generation after generation. Many of us in the audience today have had family members graduate from Jewell. That may have included parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, spouses, children, grandchildren, nieces, or nephews. But if you have a family member who has graduated from Jewell, other than today's graduates, would you please stand? Thank you. These ties give Jewell a distinct and enduring character while also providing a community of support for current students. And we pause now for a musical celebration featuring the William Jewell College Symphonic Band under the direction of Dr. Langston Hemingway. Please welcome the Symphonic Band.
Good afternoon. I am Ann Dima, Provost of the College. The value of the superior liberal arts education experienced by our graduates is built upon the strength of the college faculty. These men and women are distinguished representatives of a noble and ancient profession. As teachers and scholars, mentors and community builders, they have led our graduates to this defining moment with a common purpose to develop a new generation who will lead and serve. I would like to recognize at this time a member of our faculty, Dr. Thomas Howell, Professor of History. Dr. Howell is the recipient of this year's Carl F. Willard Distinguished Teacher Award, which annually recognizes outstanding service in the classroom among William Jewell College faculty members. Dr. Howell, will you please stand for our recognition? Also in attendance at today's ceremony are two retiring faculty members who have left an indelible mark on generations of students. Dr. Jean Hawkins, professor of accounting, is completing 39 years of distinguished service to the college this year. Dr. Hawkins, will you please stand to be recognized for your years of service? Dr. Ed Lane, professor of chemistry, has been a member of the faculty for 34 years and has served as department chair for many of those. He too is retiring after many, many years of distinguished service on the faculty. Dr. Lane, will you please stand for our recognition and thanks? Thank you to both of you for inspiring lifelong learning. The entire body of faculty at Jewell demonstrates passion for teaching and scholarship and a passion for helping students succeed. We care for you, the students, and have confidence you will use this great knowledge and experience to find fulfillment in your professional and personal lives. Faculty, will you please stand to be recognized and to receive our gratitude for the difference you have made in the lives of these graduates. Please stand.
I'm pleased to introduce our speaker for today's ceremonies. Dr. Emily Abdollar is a 2006 summa cum laude graduate of William Jewell College with majors in Oxbridge molecular biology and bioethics. A few of Dr. Abdollar's honors and achievements as a Jewell student included being the Faculty Award winner, a Barry Goldwater Scholar, a Rhodes Scholarship finalist, a Prior Leadership Fellow, an Emerging Leader, and a Scholar Athlete. Her classmates voted her as the Cressy Award recipient, the senior woman with potential for great achievement, and she is living up to that honor. Dr. Abdollar attended the University of Michigan Medical School with a full tuition Dean Scholarship after serving a prestigious National Institutes of Health Fellowship. In 2013, she graduated from medical school with distinction. She was the top senior in internal medicine and received the Achievement Award for the highest academic standing in her class. Her research has been published in several medical journals. Dr. Abdollar currently serves as a resident physician at the University of California, San Francisco, Department of Medicine. In addition to ongoing research and curriculum development, she recently started orientation as a volunteer preceptor at the Student Homeless Clinic. It's a special honor to have Dr. Abdollar here with us today, having watched her seize opportunities as an undergraduate student on our campus, and knowing her achievements at Jewell were just the beginning. Please join me in welcoming our speaker, Dr. Emily Abdollar.
Thank you, Dr. Salih, for that astoundingly generous introduction. As a physician, I have been skilled in the art of breaking bad news, so I think I can quickly dispel the wave of optimism that your words just promulgated. I am not pithy, as many of the faculty who were here when I was here can attest to. Fortunately for you, I have an early dinner date at Oklahoma Joe's. I may have taken my bleeding heart to San Francisco, but my charbroiled stomach still craves barbecue in the midst of the cauliflower fillets and lentil croquettes that frequently make up my diet out west. You are motivated by the promise of celebrations to come, and I am motivated by the seductive power of molasses-based sauce. As such, we will finish on time. My inadequacies aside, I really can't begin to articulate what an honor it is for me to speak to you today, to be back at home on the hill at my favorite time of year when the lilacs are in bloom. And if you'll allow me just a brief aside, I will say that it was on a very similar day, my own walk around the quad, that I first began spending time with the fellow Jewell grad who would become my husband. So if you have plans for later today, you might keep them open because you never know what might happen. I would like to express my appreciation to the Sallees for creating the heart of the campus within their home and for working with the trustees to usher in a new and an unprecedented era of growth at this institution. How fortunate are we, as students and as alumni, to have witnessed this transformation. To the faculty, I am certain that I echo the graduates' sentiments when I express how indebted I am to you for your wisdom, your patience, and your time, as many of you served as my own first academic role models. To the family and friends in attendance, we are all grateful for the role you played in bringing this day into reality for the young people sitting here, through your support, encouragement, and love. And to the graduates, an exemplary class I am honored to soon call my fellow alumni, I say merely, good luck. For commencement is more than a celebration of what you've accomplished, and I know that you've accomplished much, both individually and collectively. Instead, it is a rite of passage toward what is to come and a welcoming to the next stage of your lives. Moreover, I say good luck because when I sat in your seat not too very long ago, I myself had no idea where I was going or what I was going to do, much to the chagrin of my parents. I'm sure none of you can relate to that at all. However, I understood very clearly that whatever the what and the why entailed, it was possible because of the education I had received at William Jewell College. Where else does one sit down for the very first day of one's first Oxbridge molecular biology seminar, having read all 5 scientific papers back to back in multiple textbook chapters multiple times, to be asked the first question of their scientific career? What did you read in the news today? My answer at that time was, I am ashamed to say, nothing. Never again would that be the case, though. Never again would I attempt to learn my discipline devoid of the context of the surrounding world. You may not yet be ready, but with Jewell you are prepared. You are not in danger, to paraphrase one of my favorite poets, the great Bob Dylan, in his classic anthem, Subterranean Homesick Blues, of after 16 years of schooling, being put on the day shift. I wanted to avoid such day shifts like the plague, like multi-drug-resistant tuberculosis, like the prion diseases, like amoebic abscesses. This is not to say that shift work in and of itself is bad, but I wanted a vocation that would consume my energies and, in doing so, would further fuel my drive. I drifted gradually towards medicine, towards a place where science meets the humanities, as a way of melding the worldview that I adopted at Jewell with my own interests and passions, never knowing that I would be preparing to work with people on the worst days of their lives, and all too often on the last days of their lives. Science devoid of humanity cannot be the sole succor in such situations. There is a practice of medicine, the art of healing. An excerpt from a poem called Gradiamus Igitur, written for a medical school graduation by the cardiologist John Stone, perfectly captures my sentiment and message to you. For there will be hard data, and they will be hard to understand. For the trivial will trap you, and the important escape you. For the committee will be unable to resolve the question. For there will be the arts, and some will call them soft data, whereas in fact they are the hard data by which our lives are lived. For everyone comes to the arts too late, for you can be trained to listen only for the oboe out of the whole orchestra. To read the poem a bit further, for now is the end of examinations, for now is the beginning of testing. You are entering a place where right answers cease to exist. Instead, there is only the thoughtful application of sometimes contradictory principles to an imperfect world. There is no app for that. For you can be trained to listen only for the oboe out of the whole orchestra, not at William Jewell. With my apologies to this year's Faculty Award winner, who I understand is an accomplished musician and composer, I am not a music person. I have trouble even clapping to the beat of my favorite song. But this metaphor has very deep meaning for me. Let me attempt to explain. For nothing speaks louder to me than the views of my patients, appropriately de-identified, of course, regarding how the liberal arts trains you to see the big picture. My first anecdote takes place early in my training, when I was sent to evaluate the mental state of a patient hospitalized following surgery. My goal was to determine whether or not he could be depressed, an aspect of which was to assess his cognitive function. I followed a validated set of questions, some of which can seem quite humiliating. Patients often, and rightfully, become offended at that their mental functioning is being called into question. This particular patient seemed resigned, defeated, dejected, validating what I thought was the reason for the exam. Nearing the end of the assessment, I said, "Please write a sentence." He took a pencil and with a slightly shaking hand wrote, "Today is a beautiful spring day." Whereas I was assessing whether his mind was intact, he was assessing whether my heart was. I left his room with this sentence in my pocket and kept it pinned on a board above my desk for the remainder of medical school, as a reminder that there is something to be learned from each person we meet, something to be gained from each encounter, and that the balance of these exchanges does not necessarily align with the predetermined roles of the participants. Teachers sometimes learn more from students. Clinicians sometimes learn more from patients. The audience often teaches the speaker, as is the case today. To keep this paradox in mind is to be fully open to the possibilities of the moment. My second anecdote involves a patient in the intensive care unit for whom I cared for 3 long weeks. Each day I would hover near her room, adjusting pressors, monitoring waveforms, tracking inputs and outputs, and tinkering with the controls that seemed to hold her life in balance. In most situations like this, the patient is sedated, unable to interact, but hers was a different situation. She was awake, talking with me, sharing with me her hopes and her fears. Her humanity was intact. My own humanity felt in question. Eventually, she made the decision to stop the madness, to turn off the medications and the monitors and attempt to return home. Having been a daily witness to her suffering, I tried to arrange this as quickly as I could, knowing that the minute the medication stopped might be the last minute of her life. The pressors came off, the lines came out, the hospice van came. She went home. Later, we learned that she had lived 2 long weeks at home, watching her favorite movies, eating her favorite foods, spending time with the people she loved most. Where would she have been without all of our interventions? No worse off, I imagine. Had we tortured her? Probably. Had we tortured her needlessly? Perhaps. This example is complex, but my point remains. It is important to ask why as much as it is to ask why not, to check the consequences of progress as often or more often that one pushes and dreams for the same progress. You will have many opportunities in your lives to ask questions. While the answers may not hang in the balance of life and death, they may have consequences far beyond what you can currently imagine or expect. I often keep a line from Antigone in mind. Man the master, ingenious past all measure, past all dreams, the skills within his grasp, he forges on, now to destruction. John Stone, the cardiologist, takes a slightly different tone in his poem. For after you learn what to do, how and when to do it, the question will be whether. This is to keep the big picture in mind. My last anecdote is short. It happened yesterday. I was exhausted, nearing the end of a 28-hour call. I hadn't eaten in 12 hours. I wasn't sure when my last non-caffeinated beverage had been consumed. I wasn't sure if I would get a shower before my flight here, which I desperately wanted for myself and which my future passengers no doubt wanted for me as well. Self-pity at that exhausted moment knew no bounds. Then we entered a patient's room. Their story was intolerable to tell. Their clinical history read like a Shakespearean tragedy, filled with bad luck and bad outcomes and bad prognoses. Yet they sat there smiling at us, joyously sharing pictures of their young relatives, finding happiness in the smallest of circumstances. My attitude shifted, and I was reminded that happiness is a choice, that much of what we call luck is made, and that setbacks not allowed the label of failure often turn out to be the first steps towards new success. As Kurt Vonnegut said, I urge you to notice when you are happy and exclaim or murmur or think at some point, if this isn't nice, I don't know what is. Today is such a day for you. Congratulations. My wishes for you at this celebration and for all the days of your lives, may the entire orchestra, and not just the oboe, play for you.
Well, thank you, Emily, for being with us today. It's a long-standing custom at Jewell that members of each graduating class select one of their own to offer the senior message. The class of 2015 has selected Samantha Anderson, a two-time graduate of William Jewell. Sam earned a bachelor's degree in psychology in 2000. And later, while working in residence life, she started our accelerated nursing track and will graduate again today with a nursing degree. Please welcome for the senior message, Mrs. Samantha Anderson.
I want to make a clarification. I did not join the accelerated track. I'm what I like to call a slow learner. Jewell verse. It's only as good as its jewel knots, I guess. You know, I was legitimately shocked when it was announced that I was selected as senior speaker. My first reaction was, you can't make me do it. And in between moments of panic and shock, a fleeting thought was, maybe that means if you guys elected me senior speaker, that I'm invited to Sneaky Pete's later for the after graduation. Probably not. I'd still like to get paid in May. But I was legitimately shocked, and it seems some of you were too. It's fair. I get it. Some of you might have seen the Yik Yak posting in response to my speaking announcement. If you missed it, and if you're unfamiliar with what the social media platform Yik Yak is, I just recommend you stay gloriously ignorant. It is not worth your time. You are better off not knowing. But in case you missed it, I screenshotted it. It went away pretty quickly, which is pretty impressive. But it read, and I give you all permission to laugh because it's funny. Sam Anderson for senior speaker. Is she speaking on behalf of the senior citizens? Get it? It's funny because I'm old. Clever. I am actually older than the average senior. It's hard to tell from where you are. Maybe there's a lot of magic and wizardry happening here. I told you not to photograph me from any unfortunate old people angles, but there you are. Mostly I just put on a pair of sunglasses and a backpack every day, and I try desperately to blend in with the natural wildlife, like marsupials. I am older than the average senior, but I have lived on this campus for a total of 12 years. I want to be clear, it did not take me 12 years to graduate from William Jewell College. Some of you, I see your families are like elbowing each other. Well, at least our kid's better than that one. When you hate to be her parents. No, I am not the reason that Dr. Dima and Dr. Salih shudder at night when they think of Jewell's 4-year graduation guarantee. Tripled it. But if you add up the years that I have been here as an undergraduate and more recently as a resident director and a non-traditional student in the nursing program, go nurses, I have lived at Jewell, longer than I have lived anywhere else in my entire life. Jewell runs in my family. My husband, Brad, is a Jewell grad. We met here. For those of you who don't know who he is the most ridiculously handsome goalkeeper coach for the Jewell soccer teams. He's mine, hands off. And we share our home on the hill with our daughters, Rory and Emmy. They've grown up here, essentially. We live in Ely Hall, up on the campus. And like most normal mothers, I go into their room at night before I go to bed, and I stand silently in their room, and I watch for the slight rise and fall of their chest as they breathe. And I brush hair out of their face so I can get a little patch of cheek to kiss because they sleep like crazy animals and they're a tangled mess. And most of the times, I realize that I can hear the music blasting in the wellness center. So I go downstairs, and I turn it off, and I give people the evil eye while I leave. And I end up back in their room, and I whisper to them, "I'm glad you're mine." "I'm glad you're mine" is a phrase I started using when Rory was just a baby. And for us, it's meant to convey more than just love. For us, it means, of course I love you. I kind of have to. You're my kid. But I also like you. And in a room full of people, I'm so glad that I share my life with you. For the past few years, we as students have shared life on the Hill. We have sung Jewell's songs and written Jewell's words. We've celebrated its victories and shouldered defeats. We've been the voice of Jewell and lived its moments. And we've considered the future of this place. We've built friendships that will last a lifetime, and we've fallen in, and sometimes out of, love with its people. We have been Jewell students, and in the process, we have been transformed. And just as we leave Jewell different than when we arrived, Jewell too has been shaped by the influence of our time here. But all too soon, another group of students will come in and take ownership of this place. Okay, this is about the time that I lose it. Nobody looks good crying, Kyle. The voices on the hill will change. And the moments, will be experiences for people other than us. Good thing there's a doctor on the stage because I might faint. And although there's no way that those who are coming after us will be half as impressive as we are, when we do come back to visit, we might be surprised to find that Jewell has moved on without us with relative ease, which is why earlier today I made Dr. Slee promise that we'd always be his favorites. Tweet that, hashtag JewellPLC. I don't want you guys to worry about being forgotten completely because I can personally attest that many of your antics will live on through the lunch hour retellings of legendary student stories by Ernie Stufflespice and the rest of the Student Life crew. I promise, some of you, your place in history is firmly cemented in Story Hour. But overall, I stand here today with the reality of leaving the Hill on my mind. For so long, we've called Jewell home. Dang, you all thought I was done, didn't you? Very soon it will be a place that we visit. I hope we've all taken the time to consider how we should behave once we leave. The $40,000 a year we've spent on this education, and I know that's accurate because I read that on Yik Yak too, has given us access to incredibly bright faculty and staff who are connected enough to know our names and ask about our lives. They have taught us much. Thank you. And we are now graduates of an impressive institution with a long tradition of excellence. Regardless of the different paths we will take from here, I hope we have the courage to use our abilities and knowledge and opportunity to change the world around us for the better. You know, the beauty of being an almost senior citizen is that I have lived some life already. 37 years give you some perspective, not enough perspective to get the senior citizen discount anywhere, but some perspective. And maybe one of the best life lessons I've learned so far is the importance of deciding who I want to be and being brave enough to be that person. I think that means a lot of things, like living a full life and loving my people well, laughing loudly, challenging myself. It means speaking honestly and with respect for others, and knowing when the best thing to do might be to keep my mouth shut. I still need to learn that a little bit, right, Brad? It is having courage to laugh at myself. It's being intentional with the way that I vote and spend and live. It's a willingness to ask big, tough questions and being okay if the answer lies somewhere in the gray. It's having faith and knowing that every decision I make isn't just about me. It means expanding my world through the realization that I share it with a beautifully diverse group of people. I do believe that our time here at William Jewell College has done a terrific job of empowering us to consider the type of people we want to become and equipped us with the skills necessary to actually be those people. Now it's our turn to decide what we will do with all that we've been given. I have great faith in us. I really do believe that at the very least, we can change our immediate surroundings for the better. And truly, if we can do that, we could probably change the world. To the students of the graduating class of 2015, oh goodness, and to everyone who makes William Jewell College what it is, I would just like to say from the bottom of my heart, I'm glad you're mine. Thank you.
It's okay to stand up and applaud, students, if you'd like to. Thank you very much, Sam. We will miss you and Brad and Rory and Emmy. Thank you for your talk, and thank you for your commitment to this community. Okay, we're going to proceed with the awarding of the degrees. So the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and for the first time, Master of Science, will be presented by Dr. Ann Dima. She's assisted by Dr. Deborah Chasteen, a 1980 Jewell graduate, Professor of Communication, and Chair of the Faculty Council. As individual names are called, I invite family members and friends to stand and share in this moment of recognition with our graduates. After the individual diplomas are presented, please be seated so that other family and friends may stand for the recognition of their graduates.
Will the members of the class please rise? Dr. Salih, I have the honor to present the graduating class of 2015. They have completed, or will have completed by the end of the summer, the required curricula. They have been approved by the faculty, and I now request that you confer upon them and upon those officially excused the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, or Master of Science.
Men and women of the William Jewell College class of 2015, upon the authority vested in me by the trustees of William Jewell College, established on February 27, 1849, by a charter granted by the legislature and signed by the governor of the sovereign state of Missouri, upon the specific vote of the faculty and in the name of the faculty, and upon your completion of all requirements for your degrees, I hereby confer upon you the degree Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, or Master of Science with all of the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. On this 16th day of May in the year of our Lord 2015, and of William Jewell College, the 166th. Now, graduates, please move your tassels from the right side to the left side of your mortarboard.
The graduates will now proceed to the platform to receive their diplomas. The audience is requested to reserve its applause until the entire group has returned to the graduate section. Will the members of the graduating class please be seated, with the exception of those seated in the first row who will approach the platform. I encourage the audience to follow the reading of names in the printed program, so you will see those members of the class who are graduating with distinguished honors from the college. Again, we ask your cooperation in honoring our graduates today by maintaining an atmosphere of respect and dignity as their names are called. Each year, we welcome exchange students from around the world. This year, our student from Spain, earning his one-year certificate of successful study, is Enrique Francisco Grandadas Gonzalez. December 2014 graduates receiving the degree Bachelor of Arts are Samantha Michelle Meyer, Leslie June Moore, December 2014 graduates receiving the degree Bachelor of Science are Sasha Ahn, Kelsey Danielle Ortega, candidates for the degree Bachelor of Arts are Stephen Dennis Ahal, Spencer Allen, Austin James Andrews, Katie Irene Autry, Jacqueline Barmore, Alyssa Nicole Bird, Benjamin T. Boggs, Sarah Elizabeth Bracken, Joseph Evans Bulig, Alexander Michael Bush, Jillian Lee Bush, Sarah Cheslow, Grace Ellen Clark, Caitlin Combs, Andrew Nathaniel Cozart, Jasmine Nicole Culler, Sabrina Marie Davis, Patrick Deegan, Stuart Duncan, Andrew Joseph Fennessy. Chelsea Nicole Garland. Wesley J. Gingrich. Brianna Noel Glasgow. No pressure, Paul. Paul M. Goldsmith. Nathan Eric Graver. Joseph Curry Gunn. Lena Smithson Gonzalez. Kayla Nicole Halfley. James Michael Harvey. Laree H. Hazelrig. Gavin J. Hodges. Hillary Holt. Yoko Hori. Christopher Britt Isbell. Anavice Jasmine Jimenez. Courtney Nicole Johnson. Evan Michael Johnson. Evan C. Jones. Megan Kapler. Chasten Daly Cohn. Travis Stephen Lane. Katie Sue Leyenbauer. Stefan Jordan Lewis. Mary Maxine Luber. Matthew Davis Luton. Madeline M. Mason. Alexis Taylor McDaniel. Selena A. Merriman. Marjorie Maggie Marie Metz. The button's not working, huh? The button's not working. Is it more? James Wynn Milam, Jr. Haley Michelle Mills. Stephanie Louise Mullen. Hayden Thane Murray. Surah Nahib. Ina B. Palvanova. Rachel Marie Phillips. Jill Allison Powers. Carmen Lee Rabel. Rebecca Maureen Roach. Dorothy Brianna Rose Rock. Kimberly Jo Sawyer. Emily Grace Scott. Elizabeth Marie Short. Ariel Smith. Julia M. Smith. Cassandra Leanne Stanford. Hannah Carol Swan. Thomas Francis Swoboda. Zachary Wells Taylor. Caleb N. Teague. Kelsey Lauren Tenike. Evan Lynn Thompson. Cameron Ann Van Dyke. Anthony George Vaughn. Bryson D. Weibel. Jamie Taylor Wallen. James H. Weber. Zachary Mitchell Whitaker. Alexandra Nicole Worster. Ronan Zhao. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science are Samantha Ann Anderson, Brandon Apple, Zachary Colton Harrison Barnes, Michael Cole Bergmanis, Cyril Belong Sona, Lauren Bing, Hunter Bingham, Annie Catherine Berzer, Samuel J. Blacksher, Nicholas Brillmeyer, Robert Charles Carson. Morgan Elizabeth Semple. Thomas Jean Clanton III. Sean Cleary. Jana K. Cochran. Nicholas Joel Cody. Caden Compton. Leah Noel Connery. Chelsea Jewell Conduff. Lee David Curitan. Paige Elizabeth Drescher. Cara Faye Ebling. Devi Boudica Fatelli. Trey Christian Flick. Carly Jane Friend. For Wayne Tispaldet Grebakitan. Philip George Grossdidier. Gross. William W. Gross. Hannah Amelia Hall. Jennifer K. Henley. Courtney Elaine Hickman. Michael J. Hahn. Labanat Ibrahimi. Leslie Beth Iron. Eric Jackson II. Nicholas E. Jones. Sydney Michelle Jones. Michael Keeler. Kelsey Kimbrough. Chloe Alexis Kittle. Kevin R. Collibos. Emily M. Lynch. Emily Margaret Mason. Carol Ann McCubbin. Kelly McIntyre. Amanda Elaine McKinney. Mallory Kristen McNeil. Lance Brian Moorfield. Betsy Nielsen Morrisroe. Cody Nellums. Brittany Odell. Connor Joseph O'Neill. Kaylee Marie Parks. Trevor Wade Pintola. Derek Lee Peterson. Benjamin C. Plank. Lindsay Ann Pollock. Rachel Elizabeth Potvin. Christina Antoinette Pratt. Sarah Elizabeth Reed. Lauren Rhine. Elena Lynn Reynolds. Quentin Hogue Reiser. Quinlan Hogue Reiser. Shaheda Roshan. Maria Elizabeth Rucker. Caitlin Elizabeth Sapp. Meredith Blaine Sappenfield. Joshua R. Sawyers. Lahaney Shalia Jael Seaborn. Skylar Montana Castle Simpson. Faith Song. Brooke C. Simmons. Trey Charles Talley. Taylor Shane Van Hooser. Carissa Cherie Waller. Ivan Wendleton. Margaret O'Brien Winstrup. Tamra Elise White. Brandon Lee Wilson. Kirsty Allison Wolf. Christy M. Worstel. Betty K.G. Yugu.
Ziegler.
Kyle C. Ziegler. Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Arts at the end of the summer are Cody C. Braden, Courtney Ann Fisher, Max Brown Frankel, Amelia Francis Hanslick, Connor Hazelrig, Caitlin Michelle Jean, Madeline Alexandra Martin, Catherine Joanne McPheron, James Jamez Young, Candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science at the end of the summer are Shane D. Bolin, James Thomas DiStefano, Jr., Christian Scott Hildebrandt, Brandel D. Legrand, Luke Basile Longfield, Harry Daniel Schwartz, Caleb J. Sims, Haley Joe Smith. This is the first year William Jewell has offered a master's level program, which is the Master of Science in Education. We are very pleased to recognize our premier group of students to be graduating from that program. So, the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Education in July 2015 are Gina Eva Marie Boltz, Patrick Joseph Casey, Alexandria M. Malaponte,
How about a round of applause? Well, congratulations. You have moved from the role of student to graduate. And on behalf of the William Jewell College Alumni Association Board of Governors, I welcome you officially into our illustrious body. Please accept my congratulations and best wishes as you begin an exciting new chapter in your lives. You know, you've played and you will continue to play an important role in the rich history of this institution, and the college will forever be a part of you. My thanks to the rest of you today for honoring these new graduates with your attendance. Your support in their lives is a major part of their success. Now, at this time, we'd like to share the Class of 2015 video yearbook featuring highlights of our graduates' Jewell journey. If you'll direct your attention to the screen, please.
I do my best to find some kind of glow. I'm giving it some heart and soul now. From the darkest grays, the sunburst, clouds break. Yeah, we see that fire from the streets of Babylon to the road that we've been on now. The kaleidoscope clings another. Sunburst some hope in me. The black and white set us free, like the queen to the rook. Your decision was a sure thing, honey, yeah, a sure thing. No wonder I feel like I'm missing a heavy load. But no matter what daylight brings to us, we all know. Life in color. Today feels like no other. From the darkest grays, the sunburst clouds break. Whoa. let it go. Let it roll right off your shoulder, don't you know? The hardest part is over, let it in. Let your clarity define you in the end. We will only just remember how it feels. Our lives are made in these small hours, these little wonders, these twists and turns of fate. Time falls away, but these small hours still remain. Let it slide. Let your troubles fall behind you. Let it shine till you feel it all around you. And I don't mind if it's me you need to turn to. We'll get by. It's the heart that really matters in the end. Our lives are made in these small hours, these little wonders, these twists and turns of fate. Time falls away, but these small hours still remain. All of my regret will wash away somehow, but I cannot forget the way I feel right now. In these small hours, these little wonders, these twists and turns of fate, yeah, these twists and turns of fate. Time falls away, yeah, but these small hours still remain. Oh, they still remain. These little wonders, oh, these twists and turns of fate. Time falls away, but these small hours, these little wonders still remain.
Our thanks to Kyle Rivas for that video yearbook. Kyle, thank you. In just a moment, our graduates, platform party, and faculty will take part in the formal recessional. It's important that members of the audience remain in place and keep the aisles clear while the graduates recess. Your help with this is much appreciated. Immediately following the recessional, graduates and their families are invited to attend a new alumni photo party sponsored by the Alumni Association at the south end of the Mabee Center. The singing of the alma mater will be led by the William Jewell College Symphonic Band. Will you please stand?